So, you found my lair? Do you really think I'm gonna tell you anything about my devil fruit? Huh? Don't forget who you're messing with. I'm the world's most wanted man after all. Hey guys, 2D Life back at you. So sorry about the long wait for the next video, but I'm going to reward you with an amazing theory video about the world's most wanted man in One Piece. Monkey D. Dragon, the most intimidating man in all of One Piece. Look at this face. No, but seriously, we're going to dive in and talk about a few different ideas of what his devil fruit might be, if he even has one. Some of these theories have been around the web for a long time, and I'm sure you guys have heard of, and some of them I've come up with myself, and I think mostly, maybe only if I've thought about it, but maybe not. There's a lot of people in the universe. Anyways, before we jump into them, there's actually 6 of them. That's quite a few, right? We're going to have to look at the evidence that One Piece shows us what his devil fruit might be. And since Dragon is shown in the anime so few times, I honestly could count how many times he is seen in the anime on both my hands. And the amount of times that he is seen using his devil fruit, I can count on less than one hand. Like, if a shark came into this room right now and bit off 2 of these fingers, I can then count. I could still count it, because it's only 3 times. Yes, there's only 3 times we ever see Dragon using his devil fruit, and the reason I'm doing quotations is because technically each scene we never see Dragon actually using the power, and I'll get more into that in just a bit. But let's start off with the first example. It's at Logtown. I think we all know it's a pretty famous scene. It's when Luffy is about to get his head chopped off, game over, no more One Piece, and right before the sword connects with his neck, like I just rewatched this episode like a day or 2 ago, like the sword was an inch away from Luffy's neck. And we know he doesn't have good strength against sharp things. He would have been killed. Anyways, lightning strikes the sword that Buggy is holding, and it brings down the entire scaffolding that Luffy's on, and he gets away. And the reason people say they think that it's Dragon is because as soon as that happens, you see Dragon walking away and like smiling. So you think it is like foreshadowing, like, oh, that was Dragon's power. So let's say that was part of Dragon's devil fruit power. Let's just say that for right now. Then we can assume that somehow he can control lightning. Let's move on to scenario number 2. We're also still in Logtown. It's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes later. Luffy and the gang are trying to escape. He just got out of the scaffolding, and he gets caught up with Smoker, actually. And Luffy has never before faced a Logia. I think Smoker might have been the first Logia we're introduced to. But anyways, Luffy has no idea how to fight him. He's never used Haki before, so he's getting his butt whooped. Like, he has no way to fight against Smoker at this point. And Smoker's about to knock out Luffy and drag him back to Marineford and just probably have an execution right then and there. However, Dragon stops him. He grabs his weapon that he's using. And again, we don't see Dragon move or anything. He's just standing there holding Smoker's weapon. And all of a sudden, this giant gust, it starts out like a typhoon. A typhoon of wind starts in the air, and it plummets down from the sky and hits like the streets. And it blows through the streets. It's like moving people, it's moving buildings. It shows a scene where the wind is so strong it's like breaking apart bricks and stuff. And there's a few things I took away from this. One, the wind was green. I don't know if that was just like an editing thing, because later on we see him use wind again and it's not green. But in this scenario, like the wind is very much green, and it's weird. So there's that. And 2, the wind was so strong, like during this battle there was a storm going on. Like it was pelting rain. The wind was so strong that all rain stopped. That means the wind not only covered a big enough area of the town that it like pushed the rain away, but it was also strong enough to like push the rain away from the area it was affecting. So those are the 2 things I took away. But again, Dragon didn't make any motions, he didn't do anything. All that happened was he's standing there and the wind came down, blew everything away. So again, if we assume that that was Dragon's devil fruit, we now can assume he can use wind to a very powerful effect, and he can use lightning. Alright, let's move on to the third and final time we see Dragon using anything like a devil fruit, and that's actually in the Goa Kingdom, where Luffy and Dragon were both raised, and it happens in the Grey Terminal. Basically what happened is the Goa Kingdom is filled with corruption, like all the kings and queens, like all the really rich people live in the center of it, and anyone that is poor or sick or doesn't live into society standards, they're kicked outside of the kingdom's walls and live in this Grey Terminal, where basically they just throw all the trash and unwanted things. And the people in the Grey Terminal literally live off of that stuff. You know, they make like little lean-tos out of the wood, they collect rotten food, and they eat that. So what happened was there was a celestial dragon coming to visit the Goat Kingdom, and all the kings and fancy people were freaking out. They're like, we need to get rid of the Great Terminals. If the celestial dragon even sees the Great Terminals or even smells it, they will burn our kingdom down. So, what would any great king do for his subjects? Burn them alive, of course. Yeah, the people set fire to the Great Terminal, and everyone living there was trapped in the fire. They were going to get burned alive. Their houses were being burned. All their food, all their supplies. Doesn't really matter if your stuff is burning when you're going to die. But I digress. So anyways, the people are freaking out. They have nowhere to go. There's these giant mounds of trash everywhere that's on fire. It's like mountains of fire. And then, out of nowhere, you just see another vortex of wind. It comes through and it clears all the debris. And again, it's not just like a little bit of debris on the ground that you can kick with your feet. It's like mountains and mountains. It's years of people throwing away their trash and bigger structures and buildings and broken down boats. And this wind comes through and just clears a giant path for people to walk across. It's not like a path that one or two people can walk across. It's like wide enough for dozens of people to like get going. So anyways, that path clears from the Great Terminal all the way to the ocean. And at the ocean, it meets up. It's not like the pathway stops at Dragon's boat, actually. And again, you see Dragon standing there, and he invites everyone to join the Revolutionary Army if they want more freedom. But again, for the third time, there was like 99% sure, more than likely, a devil fruit that like made that happen. But we did not see Dragon make it happen. And the reason I want to bring this up is because I feel like with all devil fruits, the people have to, the user of it has to do something to kind of make it happen. Like, granted, it's not very hard to make their devil fruit start working, but they have to like move or something. There's not very many instances where you see a user standing there, complete stillness, not even saying anything, and their devil fruit just manifests. You know, any Logia type, if they have to turn their body into it, or if like Ace wanted to throw fire, he had to use his hands, or anything like that. Doflamingo, with his string fruit, he was always moving his fingers like that, but with Dragon, in all these instances, you never see him move once. So I'm just to like make sure I cover all my bases, there is a chance that all three of those instances were actually done by another devil fruit user, or even multiple devil fruit users that were just watching over Dragon. Because you assume this is a revolutionary army, they have thousands of people, and Dragon is their leader. I'm sure they have very stealthy people that follow Dragon all the time, and kind of like just make sure everything's going alright. So anyways, now that we got that out of the way, just making sure everyone understands that, let's dive into the 6 theories that they could be. Let's start with the 2 that kind of connect with each other. The first, and probably one of the most common that people throw out there, one of the ones that I agree with the most because it just makes the most sense, is he has a Weather Paramecia Devil Fruit. So basically, Dragon can control anything weather related. That would cover our bases with the wind, and it would cover our bases with the lightning. So also this means he could do stuff like summon ice storms, just like pelting down giant like baseball-sized ice at his enemies. He could summon up a typhoon, a monsoon. Are those 2 different things? I don't really know my weather that well. He could do lightning, he could start fires with lightning and stuff like that. So that's the first one. And there's not really any evidence opposing this. We've never seen anyone able to control the weather. Though, if I had my pick, if this was a real fruit, I would wish Nami actually had this Paramecia Devil Fruit because she's the navigator. It would be really cool if they're on, you know, the Grand Line, and all of a sudden they come into this giant monstrous storm that not even the sun can handle. And Nami was just like, oh, no, go away, Storm. Go that way. Go attack that other ship. And they just keep sailing through the seas. That would be a really handy Devil Fruit. Anyways, so that's the first one. Let's just jump into the second Devil Fruit. And it's a lot like the first one, having to do with the weather, but it's not as extreme. Basically, it's a Wind Devil Fruit, and this Devil Fruit could either fall into the Paramecia category, or I could see it being a Logia. And you guys are probably first jumping right to the whole lightning thing. Well, it can't be just a wind one if he has lightning. You can explain the lightning away with Conqueror's Haki. Let's be honest. Dragon is the world's most wanted man. He has the D. There's no way. I would be shocked if Dragon does not have Conqueror's Haki. And if anything, he is the best Conqueror's Haki we've seen in the show so far. If not one of the best, like paired with frickin' red-haired Shanks. So maybe if you get really good at Conqueror's Haki, you can control lightning to a certain degree. Because we've seen in the past when people with Conqueror's Haki clash, lightning shows up. It happened with Doflamingo and Luffy. So I'm thinking if you get your Conqueror's Haki to like a top tier, you can even create and control the lightning yourself. So if I'm going with like a Wind Devil Fruit, that's how I would explain the lightning. So the only thing to really talk about if it's a wind devil fruit is kind of like if it's a paramecia or logia, because that's a big difference. If it's a logia, I'd imagine it works a lot like how Smoker uses his devil fruit, how Smoker extends his hand with his smoke. Like he'll shoot out his hand like 20 feet and then he'll punch someone with his fist, because his fist is real and is connected with smoke all the way back to his like real material body. And that way Dragon could like shoot out his fist but like have wind projecting it even faster and it's still connecting to his body. So if someone's standing like 20 yards over there and he just shoots out his hand, basically like a pistol, because the wind behind it is so freaking fast, and knocks them out. And also another big deal, obviously, if it's a logia, he can't be hurt as much, because if someone punches or stabs him without hockey, it's going to do absolutely nothing to him. That's all for my second idea. For my third idea, it's actually combining two devil fruits together. It's a lot like the first idea with the weather one, because with the weather, he could use wind and lightning. With two devil fruits, one could be for wind, and I can't say the other one could be for lightning, because we already saw Eneru had the Gorogoro no Min, and we knew that Eneru had it at the time that Logtown took place, so it couldn't have been that one. However, it could be another one like the Gorogoro no Min, maybe just weaker, because in One Piece we've seen a lot of devil fruits that are kind of like the same, but one tier below, like how Ace's Marimara no Min with fire is basically like Akainu's lava devil fruit, but Akainu's is better. We saw that when he fisted Ace. Anyways, I digress. So there could be another devil fruit out there that deals with lightning. Maybe it's like a conducting devil fruit, so anything with like metal, you can make lightning strike that, or make it more likely it would strike that, but it only works with like metal. I don't know. Maybe that's an idea for another video. But anyway, so basically the idea is that Dragon has two devil fruits, one that allows him to control wind, one that allows him to control lightning. And if that's true, maybe he uses the same way that Blackbeard uses to have two devil fruits. Marco said at the Marineford fight, the rule that you can only eat one devil fruit, and if you eat two, you explode. That's only for normal humans. So that didn't give us any concrete evidence, but maybe it means Blackbeard is just so powerful, or his drive and motivation is so unwavering that he can have two devil fruits. And it wouldn't surprise me if Dragon was better with his motivation and his strength and all that than Blackbeard. So it makes sense if anyone can eat two devil fruits without, it would be Dragon. Anyways, moving on to number 4. I'm a little bummed out because number 4 is the whole reason I wanted to make this video, because I was like, oh, this is a really cool idea. I don't know if a lot of other people have thought about this. This is perfect. I'm going to make a video out of it. And like 3 days before I was about to make the video, they freaking posted the chapter that introduced Kaido as a dragon. And that's number 4, is that Dragon is a dragon. Hence the name Dragon. Yeah, maybe his real name wasn't Dragon, and then he ate the devil fruit, and everyone was like, holy crap, he turns into a dragon. He'll be called Dragon. But even though we found out Kaido has the Dragon Devil Fruit, it doesn't necessarily mean that Dragon can't also have that Devil Fruit per se. For instance, you have the Dasserhound Devil Fruit, and then you also have the Wolf Devil Fruit. Granted, there is a little bit of separation between the two, but they're both, I believe they both come from the canine dog family, or whatever the scientific name for that is. But what I'm trying to say is, you can have two types of animals. They're just different kind of subset animals. So maybe Kaido, he is, I believe, a Chinese dragon. Maybe Dragon is like a Western dragon. Something like that. And if I'm correct, I think Western dragons were the ones that were more they can breathe fire and that kind of thing and control the weather. So that brings me to the whole point why I think Dragon may be an actual dragon. Because a lot of mythology, dragons are almost deities and they can control the weather and stuff. So that makes sense if he can instead of being a fire dragon, he's like a lightning dragon, which would be the coolest thing ever. Just a scene of Dragon going full dragon and him breathing in lightning and his chest gets all electricity and then shoots out a big stream of lightning and destroys 20 boats. Anyways, that would be dope. But maybe he's able to control lightning because that's the kind of dragon he is, and then he can also control the wind because that falls under the weather. I know that's a little bit of a stretch. I would say that he's able to control the wind just because if he turns into a dragon, he has his giant wings and he can just But the only problem with that is at Logtown, we didn't see Dragon move at all. He didn't turn into he didn't have one hand turn into a giant dragon wing and go like this to create the wind. That didn't happen. But anyway, so maybe he has a different type of dragon devil fruit, and it's a mythical zone, which would be super awesome. Maybe that's what's happening? Oh, wouldn't that be so cool if Kaido turned to a giant dragon, Chinese dragon, and then you have Dragon turn to another giant dragon, and Kaido spewing fire at him, and Dragon spewing freaking lightning at him. That would be the coolest scene ever. You need to do that, Oda. You know what? Screw whatever the ending you have right now. Just make that the ending. We don't even need Luffy at that point. You have two dragons fighting each other. Okay, let's move on. That was 4th. Let's go to the 5th. The 5th is, this one I actually kind of like because it gives you a little more leeway. And it is, he has a mythical zone that's not a dragon, and we don't know what it is yet. With mythology, there are so many different types of animals, like half-deities, things that control the weather, the earth, just in nature in general. So I was like looking up some things, and I found 2 mythical creatures that I thought could kind of describe the stuff we have seen in the anime so far. The first is a Thunderbird, which is a dope name. I believe the Thunderbird comes originally from the Indians. Like, you know those poles they have with like the creepy faces? One is like a bird, and the bird's like this, and it's called a totem pole. Yes. The one that in the totem pole, the one that looks like a bird is a Thunderbird. So anyways, the Thunderbird is basically just a giant bird that controls the weather to a degree. Like where it goes, it can make thunderstorms, it can control wind, it can control lightning to a degree. So there you go. It's a mythical zone that can control wind and lightning. Boom. And he could fly. That would be awesome. The second one, the one that I like more and connects more back with Japanese culture, is the Kaiju. And what the Kaiju is, it's like a really big blue and white electric fox. Like pretty dang big. And this actually comes from Japanese mythology. And how it came about is that there's a half deity, a half god, and his name was Kaijin, I think. And he was the god of electricity. And his best friend, his like pal, who was a dog, you know, man's best friend is a dog, but he was kind of a wolf. Anyways, was Kaiju. So you have this half god deity that's in control of lightning, and then his best friend, his companion, is this giant wolf that also controls lightning. And fun fact, in Naruto, if I have any Naruto fans, the flying thunder god Kaijin, I might be mispronouncing it, but yeah, that comes from the half deity. Because basically, like, Minato uses that jutsu to, like, transport himself super fast, and the half-deity controls lightning, so he can move around at lightning speed, so that's where that comes from. And also, Sasuke, his Kirin attack, the one that, like, creates a giant dragon-looking lightning thing that attacks Itachi when he's fighting Itachi, that is loosely based off of a kaiju, like the wolf type. So anyways, enough about mythology. Sorry, big fan of it. So basically, what I've kind of found is there could be a mythical zone that is a kaiju, and that's what Dragon is. Therefore, he's able to control lightning, and also kaijus are able to control other weather aspects. They're mostly like lightning beings, but they can also control other things like wind. They're actually able to like turn into a ball of electricity and then like zip around, like ball zip, 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 really fast. So that could be done really well and be really cool. The reason, like the biggest problem I have with this is that a kaiju is mainly an electricity beast, and the 3 times we saw Dragon using his Devil Fruit were wind-based things, and they were big deals. One could create basically like a typhoon, and the other moved like thousands and thousands of pounds of debris. The only time we usually really see him using a lightning thing is just when it saves Luffy and it's just 1 bolt of lightning. But anyways, that would be super cool. Let's move on to the last one. The last one is really simple. Dragon has no Devil Fruit. He doesn't need a Devil Fruit because he's the most wanted man in One Piece, and his haki is just the top 0.0001% that he can go around and just take on anyone. Take Luffy, for example. When he was at the plaza at Fishman Island, and he knocked out, like, what was it, 50,000 fishmen? That was pretty impressive. Put Dragon on the island, and he uses his Conqueror's haki, he knocks out everyone. He knocks out Hody, he knocks out Zoro, he knocks out Sanji. Everyone on Fishman Island is just down for the count. So that's like the 6th one that he has no Devil Fruit, and he's just that OP of a fighter. To wrap this video up, I had a few things to mention. There's 3 things. The first one I already mentioned. We technically never saw Dragon using any of the lightning or wind abilities, so we can't even confirm if that's having to do with his Devil Fruit. I am 99% sure that will be, but you never know. The second thing is his... I honestly don't know which side it is on. I think it's on this side. If I'm pointing to the wrong side, I'm sorry. His tattoo is really unique to him, and if you remember, Kaido had the scales like on his pec, his arm, and like going down his torso. he had like dragon scales, and what he turned out to be, he turned out to be a dragon. So wouldn't be too surprised if that like tattoo, or maybe it's not a tattoo, it actually has to do with his devil fruit. Maybe it has to do with a mythical zone he turns into. Maybe it's the pattern of another dragon. Just like how Kaido's dragon pattern, like that's exactly the pattern and scales that it looked like when Kaido turned into a dragon. Maybe when Dragon turns into a dragon, that's like the pattern of his face. Or maybe he turns into a different mythical creature, like talk about Thunderbird, the kaiju, or other things, because there were other animals that controlled the weather. Maybe that's the pattern that it'll take on their body. That's the second thing. And the third and final thing is, I already mentioned also the whole Conqueror's Haki idea. So him having really good Conqueror's Haki could take away the whole lightning aspect, and we might just be stuck with the 2 wind aspects of a devil fruit. So anyways, that's the 6 ideas. If I had to bet my money on one, it would probably be the wind devil fruit, because again, out of the 3 times we see him using it, it's the wind, and they're way more powerful than lightning. And I think it would be really cool if Dragon was able to summon lightning without a devil fruit, just with like his Conqueror's Haki. Just like, yeah, Enru, that's pretty cool, but you had to eat like a devil fruit that took away your swimming abilities. Me, I'm just so badass at like, lightning. So I think that's more than likely what's going to happen. However, if I had my pick of it, if I could choose any of them, I would say the dragon one. Like, don't blame me. Dragons are so cool. And fire-breathing dragons are one thing, but I feel like that's kind of overused in anime and stuff. But a lightning-style dragon just blowing away mountains and boats with just a stream of lightning would be amazing. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. Those were my 6 ideas of what Dragon's Devil Fruit can be. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Like and subscribe. I will be having a My Hero Academia video out in the coming next few days, so look forward to that. Signing out.